Good evening. I'm Michael Rogers, Vice President for University Advancement at the University of the District of Columbia. I'm very pleased to welcome you to this forum for the candidates for alumni representative to the Board of Trustees. This forum is being co-sponsored by the Office of University Advancement and the UDC National Alumni Society. James Williams is the president. So good to see all of you this evening. As you know, there are 3 positions on the Board of Trustees for alumni representatives. Those positions serve simultaneously and serve for 5 years. So this is a year in which we are electing 3 trustees, alumni trustee representatives to the board. In January, all alumni in our alumni database were sent a notice of the election as required by Board of Trustees bylaws and as required by the District of Columbia municipal regulations. That communication was to notify the alumni of the election season and the timeline for that, and to solicit petitions for nomination. After the requisite nomination period, we have 4 candidates that qualified to stand for election for alumni representatives to the Board of Trustees. Each candidate, of course, was required to have 25 signatures from alumni in order to be considered qualified, and of course they had to graduate from the University of the District of Columbia, which we have verified that all of these candidates did in fact graduate. So tonight's forum is to provide the candidates with an opportunity to present to all of you why they deserve your support and your vote. Now, just to reiterate, there have been several communications sent to you from the university, from my office, but to reiterate, the last day for voting is March 20th. And you may vote online using the election code and a unique identification provided by our election contractor, or you may mail your ballot in. But please don't wait until March 20th to mail your ballot in. It must be mailed in time to be received by March 20th. As published, our format tonight will be a moderated conversation. We will start with each candidate having a 2-minute opening statement. There are 4 questions that will follow, and we will give each candidate an opportunity to respond to each question. And then there'll be an opportunity at the end, should it be desired, for members of the audience to raise questions. So let us begin. I was going to flip a coin to see who would start, but since there's only one lady on the panel, why don't we start with Ms. Lewis. And the candidates will introduce themselves. I haven't given you the names, but listen carefully. They will state their name, the year they graduated, their program, etc. And then tell you, share with you their background. So Ms. Lewis, starting with you.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to be here. I am Gwendolyn Hubbard Lewis. I graduated from the DC Teachers College in 1974 with a BS degree in secondary education and a minor in psychology. I graduated from the University of the District of Columbia in 1988 with a master's in public administration and a concentration in management information systems. So I'm a two-time graduate of the university. I feel very, very honored to be here, and I feel especially positioned to represent our great alumni on the Board of Trustees. I also believe that I'm well qualified. I haven't always been as confident in my skills and abilities. I am so grateful to DCTC and UDC. Had it not been for this institution, I would not have gotten into college, and I don't know where I'd be right now. I was brought up under very modest circumstances. I dropped out of high school to work, found out that I could not make a decent wage to bring up my family. I had a little girl. And so I went back to night school, finished my high school requirements, passed the civil service exam, and went into the federal government. I was a GS2 when I started. I made it to a GS4, and then I realized I wasn't going any further because my supervisor was a GS5. So one day my best friend called me up and she said, "We can go to college." And I said, "What do you mean we can go to college?" She said, "We can go to UDC, the DC Teachers College. We can be a teacher, and we can graduate with a license, and it's free." And I said, "What?" She said, "It's free." So I ran out the house and went up to UDC, DC Teachers College, and I never looked back. I owe so much to this institution. I will always give back. And I now always give back to this particular institution. You know, sometimes you feel kind of disconnected because you went to DC Teachers College, but now they've done a wonderful job here of putting all of our legacy institutions in the courtyard, recognizing our institutions. I bought 2 bricks, one for me, one for my deceased husband, but I will always give back to this institution. And I want to begin tonight. I don't know if our president is here, but I have a check for a lifetime membership in the alumni in the Alumni Society. And I'll always give back every year an amount to the university. Now, I'm not just saying this to get votes. I'm saying this because I want to make a public pronouncement about my commitment and love for this institution and all that it has done and all that it is going to do for our children here in the District of Columbia. If my alumni sisters and brothers see fit to vote me in as an alumni representative on the Board of Trustees, I will support the board's Vision 2020. This is a vision along with its goals and objectives that will take our students into the 21st century workplace, the world of technology, the middle class, and beyond. I have been fortunate enough to serve as founder and executive director of the National Association of Black Procurement Professionals for 6 years. The last 7 years as the founder and executive director of the Concerned Citizens Network of Alexandria. We have developed a research and evidence-based online math tutoring program called Reach and Rise for Excellence. We call it RARE. It is STEM-oriented with a focus on math and technology. This program is positioned to feed into such an institution as UDC envisions itself to be. As an educator, procurement officer, project manager, and entrepreneur, I believe that I can be a great benefit to this beloved institution. Finally, if I win your confidence and vote, I will keep you informed of our university's development towards its goals of excellence and ultimately becoming one of the nation's premier public universities in experiential and online learning. In doing so, I will continue to help the university to do its work to maintain a culture of accountability and transparency in government, administration, and its operations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Candidates, I remind you, this is being recorded. This session will be put on our website for viewing by those at home, and we may even send it out by email again, so that please speak into the mic. And again, reminding you that as much as you can, please stay to 2 minutes.
That's why being first is always important. And last. Good evening. My name is Jerome Shelton. I have the privilege of graduating from DC Teachers in 1971. I was the only career I ever considered was teaching. The university was there when I needed it. So that you understand, I have been going to school since I was 4.5 years old. Every year I have worked in schools. I dreamed of going to college as an athlete, ended up going as a student and graduating as necessary. I looked for this job 5 years ago. I sought this job out for the second time. So that you understand that I was trying to give back to a university that had given me everything I had ever dreamed of. I married my college sweetheart. I became a high school principal. I became a chairman of the DC Teachers Federal Credit Union. I served on the executive board of the Washington Teachers Union, which helped us improve the life and income of teachers. I spent my career working for children. I started working for children. Then became a community organizer, started working for adults, and I worked my way through the educational system from elementary, preschool, elementary, junior high, and high school. I was a principal at each level. When I retired from DC Public Schools, I thought that I wouldn't know what to do. But I got hired by Prince George's County and I worked for them for 8 years. When I got to retiring again, I said, what am I going to do with this energy? I really don't want to just sit at home. So I ran for the trustee board. I was fortunate enough to win. I served as chairman of the committee that made the decision to renovate this building, to upgrade the law school. I have worked tirelessly as an alumni to help the Alumni Association continue to be strong. I worked tirelessly to get alumni involved. We have a Hall of Fame dinner which we sponsor, and the Alumni Association has been kind enough to support, as well as the president, Dr. Lyons, interim president, Dr. Lyons. The university has been outreaching alumni through my efforts, and that was my objective. My mission is to make this the foremost school in the country. I'm currently in the process of helping the Board of Trustees select the next president, and I'm totally committed to whoever is in the leadership role. My job is to support. My job is to make sure that this university is available for the kid that I used to be, to make sure that everyone in this city gets a chance to a good education. I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of great people and work with them and work for them. And I hope that I can get your vote and maintain this opportunity to continue the things I started 5 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Mr. Rice.
Good evening, and thank everyone for coming out. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. My name is Calvin Rice. I graduated twice from UDC, once in 2006 with an associate in business technology, then again in 2007 with a bachelor's degree in procurement and public contracting. So this is a story how I got here. I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, so I'm not a native Washingtonian. I ended up here after I got out of the United States Coast Guard. Got here having a great time, making a little money, but I reached that glass ceiling because I didn't have a college degree, and UDC was here for me. I applied. I was very excited when I got that letter in the mail. It said, congratulations. That's all I needed to see. Came through at UDC. I have met a lot of friends, have a lot of mentors here. I always lean on. One is who is here right now, Dr. Yates. Always call her up, check in on her, how she's doing. I'm also a life member of NAS, the National Alumni Society. I support the alumni. with all my heart and all my efforts. I really believe in what the university is doing and where the university is heading. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about my experiences. I work for General Dynamics Information Technology as a program manager. I manage a multi-million-dollar contract, so I understand budgets, I understand timelines, I understand supervision, I understand oversight. Within doing that is a very, very, very important job of understanding that and bringing that experience here. Also, as I went on and got my master's degree, I got an MBA from the George Washington University, and we did a lot of interacting with international corporations, doing a lot of strategic planning, strategic oversight, which brings in a lot more of experience that I would bring to the table. Some of the things I would like to see here at the university, a lot more public and private partnerships to be able to do much more great things here. I know there's been a lot of good things that happen within the university with the Vision 2020 and where the university is trying to go. I feel as though I can bring a lot more to the table. I'm young, I'm energetic, and I feel as though that with me, we'll be going in the right direction. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Mr. Barrington Scott.
Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to come before you. My name is Barrington D. Scott. I'm a fourth generation Washingtonian. Graduated here at the university in 1982 from the physical education as well as therapeutic recreation department in the allied health department. Played football here back in those days when they had a football team. We used to have homecomings and had great folks coming out and had a 125-piece band, and it was just wonderful. And those are the kinds of things that I'd love to have come back here to the university. Public service has been one of my commitments since being here at the university. This university gave me the opportunity to have my first stint on public service as a student, working on the Martin Luther King March on Washington to make King's birthday a holiday. And so if you ever come to my house, you'll see a bust of Dr. King, just to remind me of the commitment that we have to do in terms of giving back. And UDC provided that first opportunity. I've been an AAC commissioner here in the District of Columbia, Ward 4, for about 4 years. And during that 4 years, we did some fantastic things. We bought 3 recreation facilities back into the ward, which was the first ward to have 3 in probably over 30 years. We were able to address public housing. We dealt with safety issues. And because of that, we were able to bring a lot of diversity and a lot of things for the kids in Ward 4, especially for recreation, keep them off the street, keep them involved. I'm also a co-founder, in 1987, a co-founder of the Calvin Coolidge Alumni Association, which happens to be the first incorporated DC public high school to have an alumni association. So I'm very, very well abreast of the concerns and the issues and what it takes to start an alumni association. Giving out over $60,000 worth of scholarships to kids to come to universities like UDC. Had a 27-year relationship, well, 27 years I've been working in long-term care as a certified recreational therapist here in the District of Columbia, working with seniors as well. So one end working with young people, the other end working with seniors. And we've had, at least for over 20 years, a relationship with the gerontology department here at the university, bringing some of the students here to my facilities that I've had the opportunity to work at. And so I've had that relationship, long-term relationship with the UDC Respite and Senior Companion Program. Music is something that I love to do. I remember being here with Bobby Felder, Davey Alborough, Howard Kingfish. All were members of people who I look up to and have worked with throughout some of the other organizations that I've had the opportunity to serve. A member of Kappa Alpha Psi, Prince Hall Masons at the 33rd highest degree level, as well as a Shriner here in the District of Columbia. Worked very hard to make a difference in the community. I am committed to making a difference here at the university. I had one brother who graduated from the university, but I had over 8 or 9 siblings, family members who come through this institution. So we are well-grounded, and I will be honest, January 5th, I lost my mother. She was one of the charter members of Sigma Gamma Rho here at the university. And I made that commitment that I would come back to the university and do as I've done with every other organization that I've had to work with. I'm committed to the University District of Columbia. I just say, look at those candidates. I'm one with knowledge, commitment, experience, leadership, and a sense of connectivity to this university and to the city of the District of Columbia. I ask for your vote of confidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. As announced, there are some questions that I ask all of you. I'll pose the question, and each candidate will answer that question. And be mindful that we did say you would have in the range of about 2 minutes each to answer. So the first question is, what is your view of the role of the alumni representative to the Board of Trustees, and describe what experience you have that will help you fulfill that role? Starting with Mr. Scott, since you entered.
Well, I know that you have a vision called Vision 2020, and I also understand that the trustee or the person who will be working with the current board has to be a good listener, has to be one that is there to hear what the students would like to have, the alumnus would like to have, but more specifically to follow or to assist in following that 2020 plan. In my experiences, overall experiences, I've had the opportunity to do just that. But I will say that I'm not one that likes to wait a long time. I think 5 years is enough time to get things done. And I'm one that was ready to jump in and do what it takes to work with our Alumni Association to make this university a world-class university that we all can be proud of.
Thank you. Mr. Rice?
All right, thank you. To answer both questions, what do I feel is my role? My role in the position is to have oversight, to support the alumni within their vision of what they would like to see, to bring that to the board, to bring that vision, and also to continue to move the university forward so that the university will still be here for my kids, my grandkids, the alumni kids, grandkids, and for the community at large. Because again, I said this is a world-class university, and it was here for me, and I wanted to be here for the people that come behind me. There's a poem called Bridge Builder, and I would like to be that bridge builder to be able to be here for them. Now, as it comes down to my experiences, again, I have experience within managing multiple multi-million-dollar contracts with oversight, strategic planning, supervision, hiring, firing. Because as you know, right now we're in the position of looking for a new president, also a new dean for the School of Business. So I bring that experience with making sure that we would have the best candidates to move the university vision forward. Again, I have experience within bringing in private sector companies. Also just been in a meeting with the United States Coast Guard to bring on a program here that will provide a scholarship for for sophomores going into their junior and senior year that will put them inside the Coast Guard after they complete the program. It'll actually pay for their entire experience for the junior and senior year. And then it will provide a job for them afterwards with putting them as an officer in the United States Coast Guard. So those are some of the things that I bring to the table. I would like to also bring some other things with partnerships to move the university forward. Thank you.
Mr. Shelton, you remember the question?
No, I thought I'd ask you to repeat it, just to make sure.
What is your view of the role of the alumni representative of the Board of Trustees, and describe what experience you have that will help you fulfill that role?
I believe, and I've tried to commit myself to the role of supporting the Alumni Association in every aspect, from elections to regular meetings. I've attempted to attend all of the Saturday meetings each month to share information about what's happening at the board and at the university. I believe that my role is to bring alumni back to the university to enjoy the success that we're experiencing. I've worked hard to do that as a Henley Award winner every year for the oldest award given at the university is the Henley Award, which has a $500 donation to the athletic department for student scholarship. The Hall of Fame dinner, which we've organized as alumni, as part of the alumni effort to bring alumni back to the school, has arranged in the area of $45,000, roughly $5,000 a year into the coffers for the university. My job is to communicate with the next generation of graduates. My job is to serve the university in any and every way I can. My family is built on minor school. My two aunts are graduates. My aunt is a graduate of DC Teachers. I have at least 15 cousins. All of those alumni have been contacted and made aware, and we're trying to keep them informed. During the past summer, when we had an election difficulty, I took upon the role to make sure that we had an orderly transition of leadership, and fortunately we have the panel of leaders that we have today based on a public vote. My job is to communicate. My job is to serve. We have a very extensive alumni association, and I look forward to it becoming even stronger. So that you understand, the model that I observed was the one that Dunbar had for a number of years. Dr. Graves was able to go around and support our students at Dunbar going off to college. And that's the kind of support I want to engender for our students. Financial assistance for those who need it, and an emergency place to go for. Dunbar's history of giving is extensive, and I watched Dr. Graves work, and I tried my best to live within the role that he developed to try to get monies, to give support, and to make sure that the university is a continuing institution for the children of the District of Columbia. And now, as we transition from children to teens, to adults, and to career people, we have to make several different adjustments, but my job as alumni is to communicate with any and all, and to make sure that the Alumni Association is a viable entity within the university.
Thank you, Ms. Shelton. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, thank you very much. I believe that my experience on the Board of Education in Alexandria, Virginia, gives me a background of experience, of collaboration, of consensus building, of working with everyone on the board to provide any guidance and advice that I can provide from extracting from the experience that I've had, and also from the research that I would be able to do to assist in affecting policy and those kinds of things. Also, by running my organization, my middle school tutoring organization, building funds and working with nonprofit organizations and businesses in the community is something that I do well with. And also working with people, period, and the alumni, reaching out to them, helping to grow our society to the extent that we can. I mean, we've got so many who have graduated from all the legacy institutions that we have, that we should be able to garner up a huge club or group that would definitely love this university, especially if they see it. I mean, I was shocked when I came up here and took a tour From DC Teachers College in the first beginnings of UDC, there's a lot of growth and development that's gone on. And the future that has been envisioned by the strategic plan is just where education is going. It's the new paradigm. We've got to get our children ready for these 21st century jobs. So I would do everything I can to support the board and to provide any information or support that I can to help the university.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. The second one is a softball.
That was the first.
And the question is, for each of you, what is your vision for the University of the District of Columbia in 2020? What is your vision for the University of the District of Columbia in the year 2020, the next 5 years? What do you see happening? Why don't we start in the middle, Mr. Rice, and then go down and come back to Mr. Scott Evans.
Thank you. What I see my vision is to support the Vision 2020 and hopefully to build and expand upon that. We need to continue to look at, I think every document should be a living document. It shouldn't be something that just be etched in stone. I think there's a lot of good things that's going on within it, and I think it can be improved as well. The things that I would like to see, again, is public-private partnerships. I don't know if anybody was paying attention to the news today, but Mayor Bowser just had a partnership with Howard University with high-tech jobs, and they're looking for spacewater. And I was kind of disappointed because I think that should be something that should be here at home, here at UDC, first and foremost. So what I would like to bring to the table is, again, with these partnerships, to be able to look at bringing alternative means of funds here. And how do you do that? You do that through providing different programs. You can provide business incubators that will bring in, have students partnering with the community to be able to build entrepreneurs. And as entrepreneurs grow, that also brings funding back to the university. Also look at strategic partnerships with corporations that will engage the university, will provide jobs for students coming out of the university, and that way they funnel money back to the university. I look at other alternatives means for the university as well, as far as certificate program. There's a lot of professional certificates, certifications. The university with the new building here can be able to provide testing centers so that you can be able to provide additional funding. Also look at as far as with the alumni. For me going to GW, as an alumni, I have the ability to come back and take any class I want at a reduced cost. And that right there will engage the alumni to say, hey, I may want to take a course in business, I may be a nurse, but I probably want to open up my own clinic. How do I do that? Let me come to the School of Business and take a business class, and and that brings money and funding back to the university. So there's a lot of things that we can do. These are just some of the things that we can do moving forward. But I would also want to engage the alumni, because I don't want to just be able to have all my ideas in a vacuum. With me being an alumni representative, I have to engage the alumni, because this is not my university, this is our university. And these are the things that we would like to have done. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shelton.
In 5 years, I truly want the alumni to donate over $100 million. I want the Founders Day to be standing room only. I want every alumni to be in the habit of giving as little or as much as they can every year. I would like very much, and I expect that that goal of raising money will make us independent. of outside influences, where the university management can then go about the process of following the 2020 plan firmly. The alumni's job is to support the university with the resources that it has garnered and the political clout that it engenders. The university's responsibility is to have a team to help focus and guide that effort. Right now we're in a lull, but as soon as we can get the staff, we have the young people coming on at the Alumni Association, I think, who have the strength and the speed to do the things that our seniors are not able to do anymore. And we need now an office to guide this spear so that we can begin the fundraising. It's about dollars and independence. As once we gain our own dollars, then we can decide how best to focus and support Vision 2020. The reason I use $100 million because anywhere along the way is a good place to be. When you have nothing, $1 is real good. But $100 million is at least an idea of what we should be going for. And we have the alumni. You must understand, when I started, I dreamed of a $10,000 a year job. I would have an apartment and a car as a school teacher. My first real job. I want y'all to know I never made $10,000. I made more than $10,000 the first year. I was stunned because I had dreamed my life on just getting a steady income, a car. I also got married, which changed the whole dynamic. But the thing of it is that this university cornerstoned that. It cornerstoned that for my aunts, who were school teachers in Montgomery County, who worked in the summers at Manhattan Laundry so that they could survive. They were signing out. And somehow my family has used minor to get all the way to me here and the rest of my cousins. We're here. We're all throughout this university. I met, unfortunately, my cousin. I didn't know he graduated from here. I saw him Tuesday, and he had told me, I voted for you. He graduated from me. I didn't know. I've got family members who I check on, but he was one I didn't know. The university's alumni have to be gathered, educated in how to give, and start to give. They also need our university to create an office for people to lead that effort. And then we'll do the other things that need to be done. But it's about focusing that energy. And we have so many needs. That's why the $100 million is so important. That's why the paver effort is so important. That's why naming that new facility is so important. Money, ladies and gentlemen, gives you independence. Our alumni could make us independent tomorrow. We have to begin to ask them more firmly. And again, I thank you for the time. I got the high sign from Mr. Rogers.
Ms. Lewis, you remember the question?
I think I'm going to ask you to repeat it.
What is your vision of the University of the District of Columbia in the year 2020? Next 5 years.
Number one, I'd like to see the Vision 2020 strategic plan implemented. I'd like to see that become a success, because if it does, then we are going to be a force to reckon with in the city with respect to the quality of education that we provide to our children, especially those schools that are feeder schools to the university, that we reach out and we're able to help these children, because we need mentors and tutors to help bring these children up to grade level. They are mostly behind. A lot of children act out because they are behind. They don't act out just to be acting out. And so that if the adult was in their lives, and if they were able to understand what they need in math. Math is so important to all of the skills that are needed in the 21st century. So I would like to see where the university is headed is excellent. What they're going to do, the online learning is the future. We just need to blend that online learning with qualified instructors who can help along the way and understand how to use data to inform their instruction. So I would like to see us actively participating in an effort to help these children, and to you help them there. Then when they get here, you don't have to help them much. I mean, they will definitely excel.
Mr. Scott?
2020. I'd like to see 2020 for this university to be, to first not forget from which it's come. HBCU, keeping in mind that there are some young people who don't have the opportunity to have advanced education, and that those doors still be afforded those students. However, on the other end, recognizing that the city is very diverse, is changing, looking at how we can blend this fine university with foreign students and those who could maybe afford a better, a more higher education, the tuition being a little more for those who can afford that. I love the direction that it's going with the housing for the students. This is something that we kind of fought for when we were here. The law school being one of the top in the nation, and by 2020, it's moving in a right direction. And I didn't get the opportunity to talk about myself in terms of working with boards and raising money. That's something that I have done with scholarship programs, raising almost up to $3 million to send DC public high school students to school. And why not have them continue to, some of those scholarships come right here to the university, building those partnerships that you heard about. UDC's nursing program, I don't know if you know, but nursing programs throughout the nation are dying for folks to come into the field. And I'm in healthcare, and I know on a daily basis, because we do have a partnership with some of with the nursing program here at the university, and we do help out, and I want those kinds of things to continue. I want to look down in the future. Maybe we can get a football team back to the university. I've talked to a lot of students, and they like that camaraderie to come back to the university. So I look at 2020 down the road, and maybe being the conduit to help those kinds of things happen. But even more specifically, I had the opportunity to talk to some handicapped students. And they often talk about what it's like to come down and push the button and the button doesn't work. Or to be in a classroom where there's not enough room to take their examinations. So I want us to look down the road for those types of persons as well, to make the tuition affordable, and to also make sure that we continue our commitment to reach out to our alumni. History is so important. I used to sit down with Dr. Paul Phillips Cook, past president here at DC Teachers College, and we used to talk about history. And just so recently, I talked to some of the alumni about a gentleman by the name of by the name of Edward Bancroft Henderson, a 1904 graduate who is considered the father of black basketball. Why can't we have a tribute to the father of black basketball? Come home to UDC, where basketball started. So these are the kinds of things that I'd like to see moving forward to 2020. Make some money, make us proud, bring back and talk about the things that our great alumnus are doing. I've got a cousin who graduated from the first school of the aerospace and technology program. Top in the country, but we don't hear these messages. And I'm so happy of the job that's being done now with communications. I think this new Legacy magazine is on the right direction. I want to thank Mr. John Gordon for his efforts and the university for all the things they're doing. But that's how I think I can make a difference.
Okay, very good. All right. Now, since all of you have talked all over my remaining questions, I got to come up with another one. This is 2015. The term to which you seek election goes until 2020. So think for a moment. At the end of 2020, I want you to say, people will say that Barrington Scott achieved blank. Okay? I'm looking for that one thing, that signature thing that you want people to say about your tenure over the next 5 years. And we'll start with Mr. Shelton, then go left and come back this way.
Under my tenure, I
Mr. Mike,
usually don't need one, but okay.
but we are recording.
Yes. At the end of 5 years, it is my expectation that for the first time in a very long time, we will have a president for 5 consecutive years. We will have identified someone who has organized and coalesced us into a focused service for children and citizens of the District of Columbia. I hope that my legacy will be people will say that Jerome was here and we set the foundation for the next 50 years. Again, Dr. Cook was my president. Dr. Matthew Whitehead was my dean. Dr. Dean Thomas was the dean that kept me in school when they told me I had to pay $7,000 a year because I was an out-of-state resident, and I thought I was going to have to leave this august institution. But at the end of my term, I want the alumni office up and operational. I want the president in place and working and having the funds and the freedom to direct the future and focus on the items of the 2020 plan that need to be attained. We need stability, we need our alumni, and we need money.
Yes, thank you. If I have the opportunity to become a representative of the alumni on the Board of Trustees, in 5 years, I want to see our children a lot better prepared to come to the university, not dropping out of school. I'd like to see money raised from our alumni. I'd like to get them excited about supporting the university and the things that we're doing. I'd like to make sure that we have a cost-effective and efficient expenditures. I'd like to see our procurement process such that when I was on the board, we built a $400 million high school. Well, we built it on time and under budget. And the way we did that was I found a two-step procurement process that nobody was using, that had been approved, maybe used once, to bring to Alexandria and allow them to, first of all, complete the design of the school, and then once the design of the school had been determined, then we would complete that construction of that school. It really made a difference. I would like to make a difference in those areas that I am really experienced in. I'd like to at least try to do that within the consensus of the board.
We'll start with Mr. Scott and then Mr. Rice.
Okay, 5 years, I'd like to see us have our numbers up at the university. When I was here, we had over 14,000 students, and I'd like to see us be back up to at least 10,000 before I leave, if I'm given that opportunity to serve on the board. I'd like to have our image in the community be one that our alumnus can be proud of, and the students here in the Washington metropolitan area can be proud of. Instead of going to Harvard, they're going to UDC. They'll be saying, I am UDC. For those who know me, in 5 years, they'll say what I've simply said over in every time that I've had the opportunity to serve. And that simply is a simple phrase. If you're going to be one, then be one. Simply said. Just, if you're going to be one, be one. And if I get the opportunity to serve, I will be one. Thank you.
Mr. Rice?
Again, thank you. In 5 years, I would like for this university to be a premier university what everyone is talking about. Now, how you get there, it's going to take a lot of help. Now, what I want people to say about me is a difficult question to answer with what my accomplishment would be, because I'm not the only person on the board. There are a number of other people that's going to have to bring that vision together. There's a lot of people that's with the alumni going to have to help me bring that vision together. So some of the things that I would like to happen, again, with the public-private partnerships. This is big. All the universities are doing this. We need to look at this university a little different to bring in dollars. We can't just be an institution of higher learning anymore. If you look around the country and seeing what other universities are doing, they have to be creative to bring in these dollars. Now, we sit here in the student lounge in the School of Business. Now, would it be wonderful if we had a naming of an actual business that actually paid for the naming rights here and a number of disclosed number of some millions of dollars in it, and also guaranteeing that they will hire a number of students coming out of here every year. Now, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yes.
These are the things that needs to happen here. And these are the things that I will bring to the table and hoping that I would get the support from the alumni and the other board members, as well as the administration, the deans, the students on down. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As announced now, if there are members of the audience who have a question that they'd like to pose, now is the time. Let me see your hands. Okay, hold on a second.
Sure. Why don't you state your name?
All right. My name is Valerie Grant, and I want to say a lot to the people here who are running for these offices. And I'm here tonight, I started not to come because I did not know anyone that was running but one person. And I became active. I'm a graduate of the university, 2 degrees as well as most of you all here. My children went here as well. But my concern is I give back. And when I was working, I worked for the U.S. Department of Education, and I got called to action here. I read in the paper where Anthony Williams wanted to move this university to Southeast Washington, D.C. It didn't take me but a minute to decide, Valerie, you need to go up there and let them know he cannot move this university. This is a land-grant school. I said, and I came up and I volunteered and I gave my time. I gave my time and I reached out in the alumni office and I went through those ledgers. I saw the number of people who had finished this institution, which were, I would say, at least 35,000 people. A lot of them worked with me at the U.S. Department of Education, where we could not go to school. Some of us had been to school. We wanted to finish school. And they didn't give us an opportunity to go to the other institutions in the city, because I did ask to go to American University. I did ask to go to Georgetown. They told me my job was too important. I was a GS4. All right? They opened eventually. We had DC teachers. We had Howard University. I did ask about Howard University. Now, you know, anytime all my other colleagues were going to these other institutions. And I felt I needed the opportunity to finish what I started. I wanted to complete it. All right? All right, my question is, I haven't seen but one person. And I wanted to know, when we were reaching out back then, I would say in early 2000, when we formed the Alumni Society, I'm one of the original people to the society. I'm still hanging in here. Where were you all when we were calling to action those people that we needed for our society? I would like to know that.
During that time period, I was actually a student here, and I remember that. And as a student here, we almost shut this place down when we heard that. We was right out here in front, and we almost shut it down because we made a statement, we are here, and we support this university, and this is where the university needs to stay. So, and after I graduated in 2006, I didn't join the Alumni Association, right, because I still was here in college, still going to get my bachelor's degree again. So shortly after I got my bachelor's degree, I ended up supporting the NAS, and I've been here. So I will continue to support NAS and everything that goes along with this school.
Well, I can tell you, number one, that I do have my receipt and I've joined. So that's the first thing, as a subscribing life member. Paying one payment today, in 2 weeks we'll finish that payment. But I was, at that time, working very hard with the students at Calvin Coolidge High School. Started the same thing we're talking about, an alumni association where we reached out to over 600 or 700 or 800 graduates. I could not abandon that project until we were able to get us to another level. But we were sending students through scholarship money to UDC. I was one of the people who worked with several campaigns throughout the city, and those persons that I worked with were committed to the university. Unfortunately, Mayor Williams was not one of those. However, at the time that he was in office, I was a commissioner here in the District of Columbia, and I worked on those things that I could do for students to get to this university. And as I well said earlier, I've worked with nursing students, and I've worked with gerontology students who continue to work with me even today. So my commitment has still been to the university. One of the things that I found, even in this election process, is that there are a lot of folks out there, but those numbers and addresses are not the same, and a lot of folks weren't getting stuff. So that's another piece that I will be able to help with that. I know this election, with the email process, we were able to get to some folks that 10 or 15, 20 years ago we weren't able to get to. And so I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Mr. Shelton.
In 1971, when I graduated, the university thanked me very much in June and sent me on my way. I didn't hear anything from my university. I got mail from Trinity, American University, Trinity, all the colleges I've attended, I got letters from. UDC did not communicate with me. Mrs. Thompson, who was in the alumni office, and Mr. Taylor got me to go on a trip with the bus. I hadn't joined the association, but I was a member. In about 10 years into my chairmanship of the credit union, we entered into a partnership with the university. We set up a credit union down here on Connecticut Avenue. We paid for the renovation. We were asked by the university to come in, outfit the space, and open an office. We did so. That office has reduced itself down to the ATM that you find in the cafeteria. The DC Teachers Federal Credit Union pays for that ATM. Its partnership with the university right now is in a hiatus as we decide where we're going to place the office in the year to come. We were giving to the university. As chairman of the DC Teachers Federal Credit Union, I was very active in that process. As a member of the Henley Awards Committee, we gave an annual award every year, but the year that we were not qualified for the NCAA. Mr. McLeese, who was the coach at that time, was a co-worker of mine, and I encouraged him to come and coach our basketball team because we needed to have a good coach. I did not foresee nor did I expect to have the problems later that we had. But when he was coaching, he was great at coaching. And he was a great coach of kids and a great servant to children. When Mr. Taylor was our chairman, and when he decided to run and his term was up, I decided that I would try. Mr. Taylor was chairman and I was chairman, and so I came here in his footsteps because he was a mentor for me. He was a guy that was smart and organized, and I wanted to be like Mike. Okay? I came here, and the Alumni Association I joined in around 2000 at Brooklyn Station. They had just gotten the charter. They had a meeting, a gathering for alumni, and I paid for my wife and myself in around 2000, plus or minus 2 years. A lifetime membership on the spot because it was the first real time I had been approached by the Alumni Association for money. And I understand about money. I got into the banking business because I wanted to loan, or the credit union business, because I wanted to loan money to poor people like me. I then became the trustee, and I made it my business to be at the membership meetings, to answer questions, to share information, and to assist the alumni in any way I can. Economically, I knew I didn't have a lot of money to give. I have 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and my children have left home, but they haven't left the banking account. Okay, and I love them dearly. The point is that I decided time was something I could give, and as I got more money, I would give more money. And since then, I've contributed in other ways, and I found a way to get money with the Hall of Fame dinner. Since I knew I didn't have a lot of money, I began something where other people brought money in, and I'm glad to say it is working. We've been doing it 5 years. We hope to do it again next year. The Alumni Association is reaching out. The booklet that, excuse me, ma'am?
Oh, sure.
I get one of these from Trinity University, was it in New Hampshire? Someplace in New Hampshire I went for a long time, and can't remember the name of it right now. But they sent me something. AU sends me. Howard, which I never attended, sends me something. Understand, I was very proud of this. I was very appreciative. We are fighting our way back from a long way. And the Alumni Association, in its own unique way, has been doing its part. These young people sitting right here that were here, these 2 young people, they're ready to take over. I see you back there, Jim. They're ready to make this university as proud as they can. They're willing to do the work. We have to supply them with the economics. And yes, I've been a member, and a proud member, and a proud servant of the university and the Alumni Association, and will continue to do so.
Ms. Lewis.
Thank you.
I appreciate your question, but I have not been approached by the university either. I know it may have been because I moved a few times, but I have not been as connected as I am now. I came up here and found out all of the things that were being done and the direction the school was going into. And I think I said this in the beginning, where I saw in the courtyard where they had identified and recognized the legacy institutions. I think we have felt sort of disconnected. And also, there's a big push now on historically black colleges and universities, making sure that they survive, making sure, and I think I myself, speaking for myself, I had a tendency to take that for granted until I found out that these schools are closing and that we can't let them close. This is so important to our future. And so I'm here now. And I'm volunteering my services now. And I'm saying I'm willing to come and work hard to give back the skills and knowledges that I've gained because of my participation and attendance of UDC. And so I just hope that you will be proud of what I plan to do if I'm elected.
Thank you. Is there one more question? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I've heard a lot, and what I have heard has been interesting and varied. I'm Constance Laws, class of 1957, been a lifetime member of the association for over 50 years. I did receive much information and was involved when I came out of UDC. I used to give my $100 a year for membership. The association was very active. The trustee member representatives were very communicative. And after about 7 years, I became a lifetime member. I said, I like this, I want to be involved. But it took a long time for me to hear anything about alumni involvement, and the heart of the success of any university is its alumni association. I didn't hear that until just toward the end of this discussion. I want to hear commitment from one or all of you that you will reach out specifically to the alumni. It's not going to just happen by saying you want it to happen. You got to have a plan as to how you're going to reach out, engage the alumni, do some specifics to have us respond specifically so that we can be the university you vision in 20 and beyond. I too get communications from universities from which I'm associated, and I support them. I support them because I get communications requesting their support, and even if I didn't, I'd do it. But this university, and this is not to be critical, the members of the board, if you will, got to the point they didn't even communicate with us to ask for any money. And I really didn't know to whom to send it, how to send it. And for at least 30 years, I sent $100 every year. Not much, but I sent it. But in the last 5 or 6 years, I have heard nothing. And I have sent nothing. Not because I don't care, but because I haven't heard anybody doing anything, asking for anything. And you wonder why the university seems to be going down, at least in terms of communication. This is not a criticism. I'm here because I do care. And I want to give money. I ain't rich, but I ain't poor. So I can give if you just allow us to become involved. You are the representatives, but we count. Let us know we count.
I think you got the point, right?
Yeah, we got it. Thank you.
All right. Is there, there's a question here.
Good evening. Thank you very much for letting me come in to UDC. I think UDC is one of the most profound situations that are here in the nation's capital. The problem is with the marketing and the alumni. Everyone can say, yes, I care about you, or I care about my alumni. The question becomes for me for this is, I'm sorry. One, since you all are here collectively together, will you all work together as a team to make UDC better? Two, are you going to be able to put differences aside to make a better university? You're better than Howard, bigger than the other schools, have more talent, and have definitely more alumni. The question becomes, with your marketing skills, yours, and yours, will you come together collectively to make it a better school? What I see is a problem is, two, you aren't marketing and you aren't connecting to each individual that's in school. Technology has come a long way. There's no such thing as I can't do Facebook, Twitter, tweet, anything else. You can use that. So my question becomes to each individual on this panel, it is not about the absence of mind, but what you're going to do as a person and an individual to make a difference between your university. That's my question to you.
I can only speak to what I am doing and have been doing. Every second Wednesday, the men of Older Brothers of OG chapter have lunch at the kitchen on 4th and Rhode Island Avenue at 12:30. We invite all of our alumni brothers to come and have a meal together once a month. We've been doing that now for 5 years. I come every Saturday to try to make sure that the Alumni Association is strong. I mail every bit of information I can through my email. I call all of my known contacts. I've just discovered Facebook, which is a whole nother experience. You got to be careful what you say, but you can't touch base with your friends. I don't tweet because I don't want everybody to know where I am at all times. I already have enough supervision at home. The point I'm making is that the four of us are here.
I'm invited, I'm sorry. I'm invited by Mr. Scott.
You're here, and I'm glad you're here. Because the people who are here will tell somebody else what happened. The media that we have here will let somebody else know what happened. When the TV studio was, 2 or 3 years ago, the TV studio was underdeveloped. We get an annual stipend every year. This TV studio will be coming online because of agitation by alumni to get the studio so that it would be able to broadcast around the world. Those YouTube things that you see, that you get, we'll be able to do it around the world with digital technologies coming online. It's supposed to be coming online this month. But we weren't asking for the money. We finally started asking for the money. When we have resources, we have assets, and we have to communicate. I'm working with everybody. I've not once hesitated. I've been on every committee. I attend a majority of the meetings of the board so that I can be up and aware and informed when I do come to a meeting so that I can make a decision. The Alumni Association, and I got you, bro, I'm just trying to get my 10 cents on the table, okay? Because this is important to me, all right? We are all committed to the university. We're looking for the machinery, the underpinning to help guide us in the right direction. We've done the consulting. The consultants have made recommendations. We need the alumni to fund it. We need 3 positions. Okay, isn't it 3?
Yes, sir.
3 positions to begin with. We need 3 positions funded for the public relations efforts that need to be focused. We expect that those jobs, when they generate money, will help pay their salaries. But we need at least a base fund to get that organized. We're doing the groundwork. We're working towards the dollars. These people are here because we're on our way up. Okay?
I didn't mean to imply.
No.
Let me explain before I go. I was not implying that you weren't collectively working together. My dad created HUR, BMW, Black Hawk. So
Yes.
I'm not implying that at all. You know, he got out of high school when he was 9. So I'm not implying that in any way. What I'm asking you, since you all here today, is there a strategy that you all get together and do that helps the university grow better? That's my question.
So, why don't you, Barrington, then Ms. Lewis, then everybody.
You want Barrington? Okay.
Well, I can tell you as being past poll markers as president of Kappa Alpha Psi during the time of the Million Man March, that working together is most important. I've always worked with folks. I work with seniors, I work with youth, and I believe that that connectivity is something that we have to have. I believe in our past, and I know that I don't leave anyone out. I was recognized. I've had an entertainment consulting firm for over 20 years. Part of what I do is marketing and fundraising. We've got a big facility that we're building right behind us, and someone will need to do things with that as well. We'll need to raise some dollars for this university, and our alumni is the focal point, because that's what we work for. The National Academy of Science and Arts recognized me for just what you're talking about. Marketing and bringing forth new ideas. I think what the university is doing, the path that they're taking now with marketing and the new magazine and reaching out to our alumni is definitely on point and where we need to be going. And so I'm going to be here, all of us will be here to support what the university brings forth.
Yes. As a project manager, the thing that you have to know how to do is build a team. You have to know how to be a team member. You have to then know how to, so that allows you to lead when you need to lead and to follow when you need to follow. And being on a board, you have to learn how to work with the board as a team, because you don't get anything done otherwise. And you certainly won't get your ideas through if you don't have a consensus, if you don't have at least the majority vote. So that is my whole strategy, is to work together with the board and also raising money. There's a process to that. Organizational development, that's what we need. We need to know the steps, the 12 steps to fundraising. We need to have the public relations office staffed such that they can do what they do best, the marketing and all the things that they do. They've done this is fabulous. I was so impressed with this magazine. And I know that if we can get the board around making sure that we have the organizational development that's needed to bring the institution where it needs to be, then we can be successful. I'm sure of that.
Rice?
Thank you for your question. And it's a very good question and valid question. And I think it's safe to say that without, I think I'm the youngest person up here. And I think this is,
We need to see somebody in the middle.
I think this is very important, and this is the reason why. Because you have to be able to connect with the older generation as well as the younger generation. I think I'm in that in-between state. Now, I am well versed in social media. Now, let me ask you a question. Have anybody in here gotten a campaign email from me? Raise your hand. All right, so I have a constant contact email, which I will continue while I'm on the board. I said while I'm on the board, because it said I believe in God, and it said claim it, so I claim it. So to be able to communicate out with you all the things that are going on within the board, within reason, and also the things that's going on within the university. I also have a Facebook account. I have a lot of followers on Facebook. A lot of the people that's graduated with around my time or before me and after me. Right now you have a lot of children that is coming throughout this university. They're very young. They're very savvy within social media. They tweet. I understand tweeting. We will be able to connect with these young people so that they can be able to be a part of what is going on here. Because if they don't come along, it's not gonna happen. Because we all gonna be gone soon. We here, we got the energy now, but we're not gonna be here forever. So we gotta be able to connect with these young folks, be able to bring them along. And I think that I'm the guy to do it. Thank you.
I want to say something before you introduce.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to say, be very brief. Very brief, please.
Yeah, then I got to turn to the president.
I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to thank you all. However, a house divided cannot stand. And we young people, and we older people are just not the money people. We have to make young people accountable too.
Because we have money.
Yes, you got something, a dollar. Thank you.
Okay, we want to thank the candidates, but before we end it, I'll come back to you. I want to present the interim president of the University of District of Columbia, Dr. James E. Lyons, who will speak to you and speak to the alumni out there, whom we hope will watch this tape that we on our website and that we will send directly to their email. Dr. Lyons.
Thank you. First of all, I had other plans for this evening, but when Mr. Rogers asked me, are you going to attend the candidate forum? I felt guilty and remembered, I guess a few weeks ago, I was walking in a nearby establishment and saw some of you sitting in the establishment that evening. And you expressed some concern to me that the evening at the first forum had not gone as well as you hoped it would. And so I said, no, I don't want that to be said twice. So I'm going to be there tonight. But my message is this. First of all, I want to thank those of you who are standing to be the alumni trustee. Being a trustee is a serious job. I am a trustee of Dillard University, and it's work. It's not easy. So I want to thank you for being willing to put yourselves out there to take on such an awesome responsibility. Second, and for those of you who have said, you know, we don't hear from you like we should, we don't know that you love us like you should, it's just been too long, and so on. I want to thank you for saying that, because Mr. Shelton, you're on the search committee. I don't have anything to do with it, but I sincerely hope that as your committee works to identify the new president, the next president, that you will pose questions related to commitment to the alumni, because you cannot have the effective institution that we want to have without the alumni being a strong part of it and involved. It troubles me to hear you all say that you haven't heard from us. But I know that since we have been here, and the folk in this room and this team, I mean, we have been trying. And we have been reaching out and doing all that we can. It troubles me that we have a $1 million matching campaign going on. And instead of my just being able to say, look, y'all, we got $1 million match, and we better hurry and get that $1 million together so that next year I can ask the council to raise it to $3 million. You know, we're reaching out to some of you for the first time. You haven't heard from us in years, but I want you to step up right now and write a check so we can match this $1 million. Now, the reason it's important is the message. I mean, the brother was talking about marketing and communication. I don't want to have to go to the city council and say to them, you put up $1 million to encourage us, to challenge us to match that. And I don't want to end up having to say, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. That with all the history of UDC alumni out there, the predecessor institutions, all that history and energy and love for this institution, we couldn't raise $1 million. I mean, that's a shame. So from a selfish standpoint, I certainly hope and pray, and I'll say pray, I know it's a public institution and all that, but I hope and pray that this Alumni Association will come together, building on the strength of all of the predecessor institutions, but understanding going forward that we've got to come together and rally and show this city who we are. I mean, you've got tremendous legacy. So the first time I heard about this institution was somebody from Federal City. And I said, well, where's Federal City? And I came on a visit here. Strong legacy. I've met so many people from DC teachers. Strong legacy. Someone told me if you really want to see what's going on, go to a DC teachers function. DC teachers event. You know, DC Tech, strong legacy. And we've got to build on that. So I hope that all of the alumni who are listening and will be voting and supporting this election, even beyond that, and I think it's an excellent question, even after the election is over, what are you all going to do as leaders to stand together and help mobilize the thousands of alumni that are out there? And that, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So thank you for letting me put my 2 cents in.
Thank you, President Lyons. I want to again thank the candidates for coming out tonight and for participating in this discussion. I remind Firebird Land that the election day is March 20th. March 20th. Those of you who are doing paper ballots, you can't wait until the 20th to put it in the mail. It won't get here in time. So plan on that. This night will be broadcast on our website and even to your email box. So if you're seeing this, I hope you get the sense that we have 4 candidates who care about this university, who have vision for the university, who want to be a part of the team for moving this university forward. And we ask you to cast your vote. Now you can only vote for 3, but even if the one that is falls short, hopefully even that person will come back home and be involved in what we have to do here. So we wish all of you very well in this election, and we thank you for participating, and we thank Firebird Land, all of you Firebirds out there, whether it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, that you are connected, or 90s, that you participate in this election. It's very important. Let our new day start now. Thank you very much.